Okay, this is tutorial number 1 for WeVideo. Now, WeVideo, you should be filling out your tutorial as you listen to this video. This is an editing program. It's an online editing program. It allows you to do professional videos and some podcasting, a little bit of audio editing, and video editing, with lots of different kind of options to add video transitions and titles and special effects, things like that. So once you get your account, you need to register. See Ms. Lisa if you haven't registered for the program. You got to get the code from her. Then you're going to sign into this site, wevideo.com. And the first thing you want to do is this blue button. Click on Create New and drop down this arrow right here that says Video. And then you're going to slide over till you see Full Feature Editor. Now, if you already signed in and you're looking at this tutorial again, you'll notice down here under videos, it says projects. If you already started a project, you can find your old project in here. So that's for people who already started. Otherwise, you're going to click on this little down arrow, go to video, slide over to full feature editor. Okay, and it should be on my project. Make sure you're not on any of these others. Make sure it's on your own project. Press start editing. And here you go. This is your screen window, project window. There are 3 project windows to any editing program. There's this first one over here. This is where all your media is stored. So this is called your asset window, your media assets. And if you look, there's this little import button. That's how you're going to upload your photos from your computer into your project, the photos you took for your poetry in motion video. And any other kind of video you want to upload, or maybe you have family photos you want to use, that's how you would upload those photos here. Then you're going to go over to images, and this is where all the stock footage is. Now, stock photos are things that are copyright free. Oops, excuse me. Okay, so these are all copyright free that WeVideo has purchased the rights to. So you're allowed to use this footage without getting sued. That's what copyright free imagery is. If you just took any image off the internet and used it in your project, the person who took that photo could potentially sue you. That's why you want to use copyright free footage. And then as you notice, when I click on an image, it loads up in this window over here. This is called your preview window. This is where you can see the footage that you might want to use. Now, if it's a video, if I click on this video tab, say like I want to look at a video of the wind blowing, a bunch of different options. Ooh, that looks kind of pretty with the curtains. If I double click, this is how I can play it over here. I can play it and I can stop it so that I can get it to exactly where I want it to be in order to use it in my video. And then finally, if you like a clip, what you're going to do is drag it down to video track 1. This is your timeline. So here we go. I'm going to drag it here. Actually, it gets tricky to drag it from your preview. So you actually need to drag it, go back to that video clip from your media assets window and drag it from there. So here's that clip. Is that the clip? Where did it go? Let's see. Here it is. You want to drag it from your media assets to video track 1 on your timeline. Okay, so that's the third window, is your timeline, and this is where you make all your editing decisions. So this is where I'm going to cut my clips and make them shorter, or maybe I want to make them longer, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. This is where you can add multiple images onto your timeline. So you just drag them down from your media asset window onto your timeline, depending on what you want to use. So you can use keywords. Maybe I want to do, maybe my video is about nature. So I might want to do like a flower, right? I type in a keyword. I'd see what kind of images come up in your project. Don't use animated or drawing. Make sure it's photography. So like that's a photograph. So I would use that. Okay, so the timeline is your last piece. This is where you add transitions. This is where you add title cards. This is where you add sound effects and your soundtrack. Any kind of decisions you make on the timeline is what ends up in your final video. Okay, so the last part is I wanted to show you how to edit your clips to different lengths. So one thing you can do, say like this is your clip, you can double click on your clip. Actually, don't do that. Sorry, this is how you add special effects. Just highlight it by tapping it down once. And if you see my arrow, my cursor right here, if I hover over the end of the clip, see how it turns into a double arrow? When it does that, I can drag it out. That's how I can make my clips longer if I want them to be longer. okay? Or shorter if I want it to be shorter. And those numbers right there tell you how long your clip is. Now, usually you want your clips to be about 3 to 5 seconds. This one's 6 seconds long. That's pretty long. So your audience is going to get bored watching that, okay? Um, I'm going to show you a trick right here to zoom into your timeline. Down at the bottom of your screen, if you zoom all the way down, there's this little slider button. This allows you to magnify your timeline so you can see what you're doing. Okay, so then the other thing is for your tutorial question, how do you play back your clips on your timeline? The way you do that is you take this blue line, this scrubber, you have to pull it from the top. It's called your playhead. Pull your playhead back to the beginning of your clip and press the space bar. And if you do that, you're going to notice the playhead's going to be playing along. This is how you can see your video. Now, if you want to stop watching, you can also hit spacebar on your keyboard and it will stop. So spacebar is playing and spacebar to stop. And eventually it's going to get to those other clips on your timeline, right? So keep watching and then it's going to change to your second shot and then it will change to your third shot. Okay, so that's how you watch them. Now you notice probably how boring this clip got because it's so long. So here's another way that you can cut. Instead of, if I click on this clip to activate the clip and highlight the end of it with the double arrow and slide that in, that's one way you can shorten your clip, okay? But another way that you can do that is if you take this playhead and put it where you want it. Now this, see the numbers change. This is 7 seconds. I want this clip to be 5 seconds long, or maybe 4. Here we go. 4 minutes, 4 seconds, 15 frames. That's where I want my clip to end, and I want to delete the rest of it. So what I can do is just, once it's highlighted, click this scissor button right here. So the playhead is located at the clip where I want the clip to end. Then I click the scissor, and notice how it splits the clip into 2 clips. So then highlight the part of the clip that you don't want by clicking on it and hit backspace or delete on your keyboard. And then you've just trimmed your clip. So let's see, if I bring this back to the beginning and I watch this, now my clip is much shorter and it's a much better length. Okay, again, so that's the scissor button, or you can just hover over the end of your clips till it becomes an arrow and you can lengthen and shorten. Okay, now you've got this big black gap though. You don't want that because if somebody's watching your video, then all of a sudden it's going to be a big black gap. So you need to drag these back. The way to do that, make sure you're not hovering over the edge of the clip, because if you do, you're basically just going to extend the length of the next clip and you don't want to do that. Okay, so make sure the only time you're having the double arrows is if you're lengthening or shortening a clip. What you want to do is click inside the clip so that it becomes a single arrow instead of the double arrow, a single arrow, then drag those back to be back to the beginning to make sure that your clips are in order. Okay, and then the third and final way, that's actually your easiest way to edit and make something shorter, is if I drag my playhead to where I want my clip to end, I click on the clip I want to shorten and I click the letter O on your keyboard for out. It shortens it automatically for you. It's a one-step process, right? O for out, and then say like you want your clip to start somewhere else. So like maybe I want my clip to start when the wind, right there. I want it when the blinds are already kind of really flowing. If I want my clip to start there, then I'd highlight the clip, I'd put my playhead where I want my clip to start, and I'd hit I on my keyboard for in. And then it's going to trim the beginning of your clip. So that's actually the shortcut for how to set in and out points. Okay. And then always make sure you drag everything back to the beginning of your timeline. Okay. If you want to drag more than 2 clips, what you have to do is highlight anywhere outside of your timeline off of your clips and just click and drag. So you've highlighted both, and then that's how you can drag everything back at the same time. All right, that's the end of this tutorial. Make sure you do a screenshot. I want you to put 5 clips on a timeline. So maybe pick a theme. So if you're going to do like nature, flowers, maybe sun, pick some sort of theme and put 5 clips on your timeline. Take a screenshot and put it in your tutorial, and then hit submit in Google Classroom. Move this out of the way. There we go. Also, make sure they're photos. Take the photographs. There we go. There's 4. And if you don't know how to do a screenshot, see Miss Lisa.